ויהי בימי אחשוורוש הוא אחשוורוש המולך מהודו ועד כוש.
I promise you, bli neder, if you have never heard this before and you do pay attention, you will get the chills. You will get the chills. Because I've given this class this year alone 10 times, and every time I give it, I get the chills. And I've given it hundreds of times before because every year I give it to different facilities. Esther went to the Anshe Knesset Hagadolah, men of the Great Assembly. The men who wrote down the Siddur, decided what we're going to be praying all these years in Gullus. The men who put together the Torah Shebachsav, decided this is it. This is the end of Torah Shebachsav. We have the Chamisha Chumshei Torah, we have the Nevi'im, we have the Ksuvim. Stop here. Esther came running to the Chachamim, to the Anshe Knesset Hagadolah, and she said, Kitvuni Ledorot, write me down for generations, I have a message. Now, we celebrate Hanukkah, we don't have Megillat Hanukkah. We can do it without Megillas Esther. It is doable. But she said, no. I need to talk about this. I have something, Lidorot. Something has to be given over for future generations. There are 24, correct me if I'm wrong, there are 24 books in the Nevi'im. But there were hundreds upon hundreds of Nevi'im throughout the ages. Only the ones that had messages for future generations were the ones that were written down. So what message did Esther have for future generations? Please go to Gam Machar. Right there. No, it's Gam Machar. There it is. Double click it right there. There you go. Okay, what you are looking at right now is a picture of a Megillah. I'm sure we've all seen this before, right? Let's read it. Vayomer HaMelech, second line, La Esther, the king said to Esther Malka b'Shushan Abira. He said to Esther the queen in Shushan, the capital. I'm sorry. He said to Esther Hamalka b'Shushan Abira, in the capital of Shushan, the Jewish people killed 500 people, and they killed the 10 sons of Haman. Let me ask you a question. Everybody makes a mistake over here. How were the 10 sons of Haman killed? Everybody says they were hanged. That is incorrect. They were killed by the sword. They were killed simultaneously, and they were killed by the sword. Everybody makes a mistake and says they were hanged. Hang on to that mistake. There's a reason for it. The Esaseret b'nei Haman, in the 10 sons of Haman, we don't even know what they did in the other provinces yet. Now the king asks, Umar shelatech, what are you asking? I'll give it to you. Umar b'kashatech, and what do you request? Oh, what else? V'teyas, and it shall be done, ladies. Another question. Up until this point, every single time the king told Esther, I'll fulfill your request, he had a prerequisite. What was the prerequisite?
Up until half the kingdom.
Beautiful. Ad chatzia malchut. Over here he said, whatever you want. Yippee! You can have anything you want. If the king of the greatest empire in the world of the time said to you, you can have anything you want, start imagining. What would you like? Esther should have asked, you canceled the building permits on the second base of Mikdash. Could we renew the building permits? Can you give every Jewish person in the country full rights to be, who knows what, to be considered like royalty? Ask for it. What did she ask? V'tomer Esther imala melech tov. If you want to be a good king, Yinosen gam machar, let us tomorrow la Yehudim for the Jewish people. Asher b'Shushan la'asot kedat hayom. Let the Jewish people in Shushan do what we did today. In other words, give us another day to fight, and that's why there is such a thing called Shushan Purim. Those of you in 12th grade, when you go to Eretz Yisrael next year for seminary, if you are in Yerushalayim, you will not be celebrating Purim on your Dalid. You'll be celebrating it the following day on Tesvav, unless you want to go out of Yerushalayim for your Dalid, which I don't suggest you do too much. To do what they did today. And let me also hang the 10 sons of Haman. 1 second. They killed the 10 sons of Haman up here. What in the world? Why do you want to kill 10 dead men? Well, not even kill. Why do you want to hang 10 dead men? Yes?
To display them and make them an example to anyone else.
Okay, I hear that, but is that worth the king saying anything? All I want is to hang 10 dead men. That's like Bill Gates coming to you and say, all right, you name it, it's yours. Can I have a tuna fish sandwich, please? Really? Really? That's it? Hang 10 dead men to publicize this is what happens, yada, yada. Yeah, I want a tuna fish sandwich from Bill Gates. Doesn't make sense. So here's 2 secrets I'm going to tell you. One we already know from the Megillah. The other one you already know from growing up in a home with typical parents. Let's tell you the one you know from growing up in a home with typical parents. Yinosen gam machar. Give me also tomorrow. When your parent tells you, when are we going to go? When you go to your parent, when are we going to go to Disney? And your parent says, nah, tomorrow. And you don't go the next day. What happened? They weren't lying. Because sometimes when you say tomorrow, you mean the day after today. And sometimes when you say tomorrow, you mean in the future. Especially in Hebrew. Machar can mean tomorrow, the day after today. But it also can mean in the future. Way in the future. We didn't go to Disney for years later, but I said tomorrow. Could mean anytime. The other secret we know from school, and that is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name is not mentioned specifically in the Megillah anywhere, right? Why not? Because it's our job to find HaKadosh Baruch Hu between the lines. Every single thing that happens in the Megillah, every single word, there is Yad Hashem guiding it, and our job is to find it between the lines. Why is it produced like that? So we can do the same thing in our own lives. The way we relate to the Megillah is you learn the Megillah, you hear the Megillah, and then you think about, you know what? I can believe this. I don't even have to, I don't have to put anything in there, and I can read it through and relate to it because it's the same thing in my own life. But just like Hashem's hand is in the Megillah, Hashem's hand is in my own life every step of the way. But there is a hint. What is the hint? Every time it says HaMelech HaChashverosh, it means King Achashverosh, right? But every time it says the word Melech, and it doesn't give a name, especially when it says Ha-Melech, the king, who does it mean? Go ahead. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, means Hashem. So let's read this again, okay? It doesn't say Achashverosh on this page anywhere, does it? It says HaMelech. Vayomer HaMelech Esther HaMalka. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Esther Malka, again, she had prophecy, she has nevuah. B'shushan abira hargayud and rabbe chamesh me'os ish. V'aseseres b'nei Haman. B'shar medinos hamelech me'asu. Amah shelatech. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying to Esther, you can have anything you want. R'nosen lach. That's why it didn't say al chatziyah malchut. It's HaKadosh Baruch Hu saying it. Anything you request will happen. But now the question is even worse. Because if you're going to say it was a HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he says, Esther, you can have anything you want, bring Mashiach? You know, they're in Golus now. Bring Mashiach, let's end this whole mess. Let's end everything, you know, perfect history over here. Nope. What did she ask for? Give me in the future. We already established that. La Yehudim, for the Jewish people. Asher b'shushan abira, and so on. And let us hang the 10 sons of Haman in the future. Let's go to the 10 sons of Haman. Sarah B'nai Haman, here you go. Let's hang the 10 sons of Haman. I'm sure we've all seen this before. Yeah. This is a page in the Megillah. The Aseret B'nai Haman are written like this. They were all killed simultaneously, so therefore we write them straight down. Also, the Baal Koreh reads them in one breath to show they were killed simultaneously. But there's something else going on here. Can you blow up the page down a little bit and go to the second name? Thank you. Beautiful. All right. Everybody here reads Hebrew. What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this word? Teeny tough. It's teeny, right? Okay. Now, move it up a little bit. You can use your fingers. Keep going. Keep going. Keep up. Stop. What's going on with this one? What's wrong? Teeny weeny shin. Itsy bitsy. All right, up again. What's wrong with this one? The Zion is so little. Okay. Tough shin Zion. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, I forgot where I am. Ladies, I have asked Talmidei Chachamim. Just 2 days ago, I called a friend of mine, Rabbi Bamberger in Muncie. Very close friend of mine, tremendous Talmid Chacham. And I said, has anyone in the thousands of years that the Megillah has been around, has anyone ever had an answer until very recently in Jewish history is, hundreds of years. Until very, very recently, has anyone ever had an answer to the little letters? Because these little letters have been written like that ever since Esther and Mordechai wrote the Megillah. And he said, I don't know. Let me ask somebody else. And he went to somebody else. And he came back to me and he had the same answer I had. And no one has any answers. Yes?
Is it a year?
It's a year. Yes. But until that year, no one has ever come up with that boggles the mind. Because if you've ever learned Gemara, you know that the rabbis will turn over mountains to find answers for things like this. Why is it written that way? Why is there something missing? Why is there a vav not there? Why is there a vav is there? Why is this small? Why is this big? They turn over mountains to figure out the answer, and no one has an answer until 1946. Taf Shin Zion is the year 5747 in the Hebrew years. But as you know, our years change Rosh Hashanah, and the secular year changes in January. So 5747 is 1946-47. Please, Esther said to the king, give me in the future a chance to hang the 10 sons of Haman. When? Taf Shin Zion 5747. Please go to the 13 steps. Go scroll down. Down. No, that's up. Keep going, go, all the way to the beginning. There you go. Okay. This is a copy. I just took my camera one day. I found on the computer a copy of a page from Time Life magazine, and I took a picture of it. That's all this is. Now, on Time Life magazine, in 1946, here is an article. It says, on the 1st of October 1946, the International Military Tribunal at Nuremberg delivered its verdicts after 216 court sessions. Of the original 24 defendants, 12, including Martin Bormann, tried in absentia, were sentenced to death by hanging. The author of this account, Kinsbury Smith of the International News Service, was chosen by lottery, to represent the American press at the execution. The sentence was carried out on Wednesday, October 16th, 1946. I have over here, I'm not going to bother with it right now, but I did a calculation. You know, you have these calendars on your phone. You have an app. You can translate Jewish dates to English dates back and forth. I'll just tell you straight up, October 16th, 1946 corresponds to Chaf Aleph Tishrei, 21st day of Tishrei. 21st day of Tishrei is Hoshana Rabbah, the last day of Sukkot before Shmini Atzeret. On that day, it's the end of the judgment season, starting from Rosh Chodesh Elul, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and a lot of people forget Hoshana Rabbah. Rosh Hashanah we're judged, Yom Kippur it's sealed, Hoshana Rabbah it's sent out. Not only is it sent out, says the Zohar, not only is it sent out for the Jewish people, but judgments are carried out and sent out for every person in the world, all nations of the world. Their judgment is carried out on Hoshana Rabbah. That year, 1946, Hoshana Rabbah was October 16th. Now, on October 16th, the nations of the world decided, convicted, their judgment was sent out, that these originally 12 men deserved to be hanged. One of them, Martin Bormann, never made it to trial. He escaped. But if they ever found him, which I don't think they did, he's supposed to be hanged. Another one, number 11, his name was Herman Wilhelm Goring. I'm sure you've heard about this in history. He was the number 2 man after Hitler. He cheated the gallows of the Allied justice by committing suicide in a prison cell shortly before 10 other condemned Nazi leaders were hanged in Nuremberg Gaol. He swallowed cyanide he had concealed in a copper cartridge cell while lying on his cot in his cell. Please scroll up a little bit. Okay, let's go to over here. This is the list. Okay, last to depart his life in a total span of just about 2 hours was Arthur C.S. Ingwart, former Galateer of Holland and Austria. In between these two once powerful leaders, the gallows claimed in the order named Field Marshal Wilhelm Keitel, Ernest Kuttenbrunner, once head of the Nazi security police, Alfred Rosenberg, archpriest of Nazi culture in foreign lands, Hans Frank, Galateer of Poland, Wilhelm Frank, Nazi minister of the interior, Fritz Sackel, boss of slave labor, Colonel General Alfred Jodl, and Julius Streicher. Julius Streicher bossed the anti-Semitism drive of the Hitler Reich. Julius Streicher's job was to find new, innovative ways to promote anti-Semitism and torture Jews. One of the things he did was he studied our calendar. And he used our Yom Tovim against us. On Yom Kippur, he would tell the camps to offer extra rations, especially to the religious Jews. On Pesach, they would offer bread. On Purim, they would hang 10 Jews. And he knew this, and he used it against us. So this man knew our calendar backwards and forwards perfectly. Let's see what happened to this guy. Let's scroll down. I'm not going to go through. Everybody before they got to the gallows, they made their little speech with their Heil Hitlers, and now I go to God, and God will be the true judge. I really wish I had a seat in the next world when these people got up there and went, okay, keep going. But all I want to go to is Julius Streicher. Scroll back, whoa, slow it up, down. All right, there. I just want to see what that man, Julius Streicher, who knew our calendar as well, or if even better than we do. I want to see what he said. Okay? Julius Streicher made his melodramatic appearance at 2:12 a.m. Now scroll up. Okay. Whoa, stop. While his manacles were being removed and his bare hands bound, this ugly dwarfish man, wearing a threadbare suit and a well-worn bluish shirt and buttoned to the neck, but without a tie, he was notorious during his days of power for his flashy dress, glanced at the 3 wooden scaffolds rising menacingly in front of him. Then he glanced around the room, his eyes resting momentarily upon the small group of witnesses. By this time, his hands were tied securely behind his back. 2 guards, one on each arm, directed him to number 1 gallows on the left of the entrance. He walked steadily the 6 feet to the first wooden step, but his face was twitching. As the guards stopped him at the bottom of the steps for identification formality, he uttered his piercing scream, "Heil Hitler!" The shriek sent shivers down my spine. As its echo died away, an American colonel standing by the steps said sharply, "Ask the man his name." In response to the interpreter's query, Streicher shouted, "You know my name well." The interpreter repeated his request, and the condemned man yelled, "Julius Streicher!" As he reached, well, can you scroll down a little bit? I don't want to uncover everything just. Perfect, all right. As he reached the platform, Streicher cried out, "Now it goes to God." He would push the last 2 steps to the mortal spot beneath the hangman's rope. The rope was being held back against a wooden rail by the hangman. Okay? Now up a little bit, 1 line. All right? Streicher was swung suddenly to face the witnesses and glared at them. Suddenly he screamed, "Purimfest, 1946! Huh? It was October 16th. Everybody knows Purim falls out March time. Ask anybody in the street. You don't have to be Jewish.
Or February.
Okay. Everybody knows that. Why in the world? Julius Streicher, who knew our calendar better than us, screams out, "Purimfest, 1946, and that's the last words out of his mouth before they open the chamber, or the trap door, and snap his neck. Last words out of his mouth. Purimfest. And then, this is Time Like magazine. It's not written for Jews, so it has to translate. Purim is a Jewish holiday. Go up. Purim is a Jewish holiday celebrated in the spring, commemorating the execution of Haman, ancient persecutor of the Jews described in the Old Testament. What? Why did Streicher say Purimfest? It was Hoshana Rabbah, it wasn't Purim, and he knew that. Was he really saying those words?
No.
Or was the Kadosh Baruch Hu giving us a message through the mouth of this Rasha right before he died? Go back to the 10 sons. You can go back to the 10 now? 10 sons. Aseret Bnei Haman. Okay. Tuf Shin Zayin. Yinosein Gam Machar. Esther, who the Gemara says had Nevuah. She was one of the female Nevios of history. She had Nevuah. She spoke to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and she said, Im ala melech tov. If you want to be a good king, Yinosein Gam Machar, let us in the future hang 10 sons of Haman. And if you want to know exactly, if you're a little iffy about that, Tuf Shin Zayin, I'll tell you exactly, 5747, corresponding to 1946. And if you're a little iffy about that, I'll tell you even more, because we're going to make Julius Streicher admit it on the gallows when he screamed out, Purimfest, 1946. Ladies, the point of Purim, the point of Megillas Esther, is to recognize Yad Hashem in every moment of your life. There are people who doubt and who complain, who say, I don't understand why HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing what he's doing. And how is God here? And all kinds of things like that. But if you look in your own life, and if you look at the history of our people from beginning till now, and you look closely, you see HaKadosh Baruch Hu every step of the way. Thank you.